South Africa.
Travel with Kevin, Episode 1.
South Africa is the southernmost country in the continent of Africa.
There are many amazing places to visit in South Africa, which we will share in a bit.
South Africa is the 9th largest country in Africa, and 24th largest in the world. It is the 4th most populated in Africa, and 23rd most populated in the world.
Pretoria, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Bloemfontein, and Durban are the cities to visit in South Africa.
Pretoria is the administrative capital, while Cape Town is the legislative capital. The Constitutional Court, the country's highest court, is located in Johannesburg, the largest city. Bloemfontein has traditionally been regarded as the judicial capital.
Let's have a look at what to see in Pretoria.
Pretoria is the administrative capital of South Africa.
Church Square.
Church Square, originally Market Square, is the square at the historic center of the city of Pretoria. The square is being used as a marketplace and churchyard. The square's most prominent feature is the statue of the late Boer leader and President of the South African Republic, Paul Kruger, at its center.
Union Buildings.
The Union Buildings, close to historic Church Square, form the official seat of the South African government, and also house the offices of the President of South Africa.
Voortrekker Monument.
The granite structure is located on a hilltop, and was raised to commemorate the Voortrekkers, who left the Cape Colony between 1835 and 1854.
Now, let's look at what to see in Cape Town.
Cape Town is the legislative capital of South Africa.
Bo-Kaap Malay Quarter.
The Bo-Kaap is formerly known as the Malay Quarter. It is a former racially segregated area, situated on the slopes of Signal Hill, above the city centre, and is a historical centre of Cape Malay culture in Cape Town. The Nurul Islam Mosque, established in 1844, is located in the area. Bo-Kaap is known for its brightly coloured homes and cobblestone streets.
Bloubergstrand Beachfront.
It is a seaside suburb, along the shores of Table Bay. The name Bloubergstrand literally means Blue Mountain Beach, in Afrikaans, and is derived from Blouberg, a nearby hill. The beach is a popular location for a classic view of Table Mountain, across the bay.
Cable car to Table Mountain.
The Table Mountain Aerial Cableway takes passengers from the lower cable station on Tafelberg Road, about 302 meters above sea level, to the plateau at the top of the mountain, at 1,067 meters. The upper cable station offers views overlooking Cape Town, Table Bay, Lions Head, and Robben Island to the north, and the Atlantic seaboard to the west and south.
Table Mountain.
Table Mountain is a flat-topped mountain, forming a prominent landmark, overlooking the city of Cape Town. It is a significant tourist attraction, with many visitors using the cableway, or hiking to the top.
Castle of Good Hope.
It is a bastion fort, built in the 17th century in Cape Town. Originally located on the coastline of Table Bay, following land reclamation, the fort is now located inland.
City Hall.
Cape Town City Hall is a large Edwardian building, which was built in 1905. It is located on the Grand Parade, to the west of the castle, and is built from honey-coloured Atlantic limestone, imported from Bath, in England.
Houses of Parliament.
Houses of Parliament have been declared a National Heritage Site by the South African Heritage Resources Agency, and given Grade 1 National Heritage status, the highest grade set by SARA.
Kirstenbosch Botanical Garden.
An important botanical garden, nestled at the eastern foot of Table Mountain, places a strong emphasis on the cultivation of indigenous plants.
Slave Lodge and Company's Garden.
The Slave Lodge is a South African social history museum. It has been on its present site, in the Company's Garden. The Company's Garden is the oldest garden in South Africa, a park and heritage site, located in central Cape Town. The garden was originally created in the 1650s by the region's first European settlers, and provided fertile ground to grow fresh produce, to replenish ships rounding the Cape. It is watered from the Multeno Dam, which uses water from the springs on the lower slopes of Table Mountain.
Stellenbosch Winery Tour.
The Stellenbosch, Pyle, and Franschhoek valleys form the Cape Winelands, the larger of the two main wine-growing regions in South Africa. The South African wine industry produces about 1 billion litres of wine annually. Stellenbosch is the primary location for viticulture and viticulture research. Stellenbosch lies at the foot of the Cape Fold mountain range, which provides soil favourable to viticulture.
Victoria and Alfred Waterfront.
It is a mixed-use destination, located in the oldest working harbour in the southern hemisphere. Table Mountain is its backdrop.
Next on the list is Johannesburg.
Johannesburg is the largest city in South Africa.
Guided game drives.
Welgevonden is home to more than 65 mammal species. While these include the famous Big Five, it is the rare and unusual species like cheetah, brown hyena, caracal, aardwolf, and aardvark that make game drives exceptionally exciting.
Lesedi Cultural Village.
It is a tourist village, which celebrates the cultural traditions of several different peoples of southern Africa. It reproduces traditional dwellings, and offers demonstrations of dances, and other cultural activities.
Nelson Mandela Square.
It is a shopping center, that includes a large open area, built to resemble a traditional European town square, and an office complex. The center was formerly known as Sandton Square, and was named for the former president of South Africa, and anti-apartheid activist Nelson Mandela, in March 2004. A 6-meter-high statue of Mandela was unveiled at the ceremony, to rename the square.
Next, Cape Peninsula.
The Cape Peninsula is a generally mountainous peninsula that juts out into the Atlantic Ocean, at the southwestern extremity of the African continent. At the southern end of the peninsula are Cape Point and the Cape of Good Hope. On the northern end is Table Mountain, overlooking Table Bay, and the city bowl of Cape Town.
Boat ride to Seal Island.
An incredible maritime adventure to Seal Island, situated in Hout Bay, in a sightseeing boat.
Seal Island.
Seal Island is a small land mass located 5.7 kilometers off the northern beaches of False Bay, near Cape Town. The island, home to 64,000 Cape fur seals, is so named because of the great number of Cape fur seals that occupy it.
Boulders Beach, penguin watching.
Boulders Beach is a sheltered beach made up of inlets between granite boulders. It is a popular tourist spot, because of a colony of endangered African penguins, which settled there in 1982. Boulders Beach forms part of the Table Mountain National Park.
Cape of Good Hope.
It is a rocky headland, on the Atlantic coast of the Cape Peninsula.
Cape Point, by funicular.
Cape Point is a promontory, at the southeast corner of the Cape Peninsula, a mountainous and scenic landform that runs north-south for about 30 kilometers, at the extreme southwestern tip of the African continent. Table Mountain, and the city of Cape Town, are close to the northern extremity of the same peninsula. The Flying Dutchman funicular, also known as the Cape Point funicular, is a funicular railway that runs from a lower station, at the Cape Point car park, up an incline through dense fynbos, to the upper lighthouse. It was the first commercial funicular of its kind, in Africa.
Cape Point Ostrich Farm.
The drive to the farm is one of the great scenic routes of South Africa, leading to the Cape of Good Hope, either via Simon's Town or via Scarborough. From the most dangerous to the most feared.
Chapman's Peak Drive.
Chapman's Peak is a mountain on the western side of the Cape Peninsula, between Hout Bay and Noordhoek in Cape Town. The western flank of the mountain falls sharply for hundreds of meters into the Atlantic Ocean, and a road, known as Chapman's Peak Drive, hugs the near vertical face of the mountain, linking Hout Bay to Noordhoek. Tourists and locals often stop at viewpoints along this road, which offer views of Hout Bay, the Sentinel Peak, and surrounds, as well as over Noordhoek Beach.
Clifton and Camps Bay.
Clifton, with dwellings nestled on cliffs that have sweeping views of the Atlantic Ocean. In 2005 and 2006, it was rated by Forbes at number 8 in the top 10 topless beaches in the world. Clifton is neighbored by the suburbs of Camps Bay. Camps Bay is an affluent suburb of Cape Town, and the small bay, on the west coast of the Cape Peninsula.
Hout Bay.
Hout Bay is a seaside suburb of Cape Town, in the Western Cape province of South Africa. It is situated in a valley, on the Atlantic seaboard, of the Cape Peninsula.
Llandudno.
Llandudno is a seaside suburb of Cape Town, on the Atlantic seaboard of the Cape Peninsula, in the Western Cape. There are no street lights, shops, or commercial activities. Llandudno Beach is one of the Cape's most naturally diverse beaches, surrounded by large granite boulders, and overlooked by mountains. It is a popular surfing spot.
12 Apostles.
The 12 Apostles are part of the Table Mountain complex, overlooking Camps Bay. The mountain range stretches 6 kilometers almost to Hout Bay. They actually consist of 18 peaks. The average height above sea level is 750 meters, compared to 1,060 meters for Table Mountain.
Second last is Bloemfontein.
Bloemfontein, also known as Bloem, is the judicial capital. The city of Bloemfontein hosts the Supreme Court of Appeal, the Franklin Game Reserve, Naval Hill, the Marcelst Resort, and the Saint Duplessis Theatre. The city hosts numerous museums, including the National Women's Monument, the Anglo-Boer War Museum, the National Museum, and the Oluwan Huis Art Museum. Bloemfontein also hosts the first digital planetarium in the Southern Hemisphere, the Naval Hill Planetarium, and Boyden Observatory, an astronomical research observatory.
Finally, it is Durban.
Durban is the third most populous city in South Africa, after Johannesburg and Cape Town. The few tourist attractions here are Mitchell Park Zoo, Umgeni River Bird Park and Ushaka Marine World.
Currency used here is South African rand. 1 Singapore dollar equals to 14 rand, as of date.
Driving side is left, just like in Singapore, and the calling code is +27.
The ideal flight from Singapore to Johannesburg, in Ethiopian Air, is 1,212 Singapore dollars, and it takes about 17 hours, inclusive of 3 hours stopover at Addis Ababa Bole Airport, in Ethiopia.
Happy and safe traveling.
Travel with Kevin, Episode 1.
South Africa.